this. It goes onto my wall, and people can comment on my wall. Do you see the comments that is there like for you on your page like a global collection of all the comments?
Yeah. So
if you go, you answer that.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, there's a couple issues. One of them is this is something I don't like about Facebook Live, is which by the way, like, comment, and share, please, as well as post your comments and questions. So the thing that's going on right now is with every place this is embedded on, people are commenting on that person's page. So, for example, and again, just to add to the cluster, we have.
So I need to be checking my feed. I'm looking at your page. I should go to my page and see if
it depends where they go, right?
Well, actually, I think what I'm seeing, at least on my page, is if I share this, the comments that I'm seeing are the comments from the shared video.
It should be. Yeah.
Now we do have 2 streams going on, so we've got 2 feeds of comments, which is why you see us clicking here so much. But that's at least the way that it's working currently in my stream. Yep. There is something to think about when it comes to Facebook Live. This is absolutely not confirmed. You can just assume that it's probably true, which is Facebook. If you have a business page on Facebook or you do business on Facebook, if any kind of followers at all over the last 3 years, you've seen a degradation of the number of people that see your post. There's just no question. If you looked back 2013 and saw how many people see your post versus what they are now, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Facebook has basically made it very clear that they are not giving businesses a free ride anymore. Now, when you use media like Facebook Live, which Facebook, think about what Facebook is trying to do. They are trying to kill Periscope and Meerkat. All right, they're just trying to wipe them off the face of the earth
and compete with Google Hangouts.
That's right, and compete with Google Hangouts and YouTube Live. And so if you give Facebook what they want, which is good content, which is what hopefully we're providing for you today, you can assume more people will see it. Okay, so that's not verified, that's not confirmed. Facebook certainly isn't talking about it, but I can almost guarantee you that the viewership on video, on streaming video through Facebook Live is higher now. Take advantage of it while you can, because that will not always be the case. Trust me about that.
Right, yep.
In fact, you can't even promote, right now, you can't even pay to promote your own videos on Facebook. You can do it afterwards, but you can't pay to promote your own live streams. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is there are some, in their terms of service, and I expect they'll be adjusting this, technically you're not supposed to sell stuff on Facebook Live. Technically, they don't want you.
Well, that's why we didn't give an affiliate link for the Mevo.
Yeah.
And I don't know the extent of that. I don't know if it's being enforced.
Use the word trillion.
Yeah.
All right.
But we'll find that out, Mike, and maybe the next time we do this, we'll have some more information on how to use this if you're going to be marketing.
Yeah, yep, no doubt about it.
Making a pitch, certainly.
Dean Renfro says there's an app that combines the comments. I'd be interested in that, Dean. Please let us know what that is. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. Love to know.
All right.
Okay.
We are trying everything out right now that we possibly can using this media because it's just that good, and that's why, at least for the next foreseeable future, the 3 of us have decided to put our heads together and really teach you how to use Facebook Live to get more customers and leads, sell more products, take more time off, make $1 trillion, change the world, run for president, and marry a supermodel.
I'm running for vice president.
Vice president.
Yeah, you know, it used to be able to run for president, and then someone else could run for vice president. Now they just put all the idiots in one big ticket together. I'm sorry, was that out loud?
Yeah, no one was listening to you.
They turned my mic off. Yeah.
All right. So
don't vote for evil.
I know you had something to share and teach.
Mike Filsaime does. Yeah.
So if I'll look into this camera here and talk about what I'm going to talk about here. There we go. I've done a lot with webinars over the last couple of years. Obviously, I was co-founder with Webinar Jam, Ever Webinar. We interviewed about 26, when we did our Webinar Jam studio launch, we interviewed 26 of the leading experts doing webinars in the world. Mike Koenigs, you were there. We had Brendan Bouchard, we had Jason Fladlin, Russell Brunson, Onyx and Gal. And we also looked at 13 of our users that are power users in Webinar Jam. And we reached out to them. We basically, the only way we knew is we said, look, people that are putting on about 2,000 to 3,000 people on a webinar, they're doing it once a week, we could probably learn from them. People we never heard of before. They were doing $5 and $6 million a year in niches that you wouldn't even imagine. Some of them were like in Australia for Forex and things like that. So they gave us a lot of good information, and I compiled it into what we called a super doc. We took notes from every one of them, and there were about 51 things that we learned from these people. What I'm going to do, being that I've done webinars now for the last year and a half in our marketing so strong, I think there's a big confusion going on in the marketplace right now with things like funnels, freemiums, and tripwires. So here's the myth number one I want to talk about. I'll go over to the board here if you guys can follow me over to here. Myth number one is these tripwires. Okay, if you look at what Ryan Dice and Perry Belcher did when they really pushed tripwires into our community, what they did is they wanted you to know that if you could get a customer to buy something for $7, then you could later, all right, sell that customer different products. It was a way to basically segment a list or use it as a self-liquidating offer to sell products later. Okay, so look at it this way. You look at one of their first tripwire products. It was, I think, called 57 split test, right? What they wanted to know was anybody that's interested in split test probably has a website and something to sell online, and we can sell them later. Here's what's happened in the marketplace right now. Everybody thinks that they need this landing page with a big freemium, all right, that they're going to give away for free. And then after the freemium, they want to have this $7 tripwire, right? And then after that, I'm just going to go over here, guys, because I know that it gets a little tough for the camera to follow me over there. The next thing down here would then be like a $47 to $97 product, okay? And then from here, you would upsell, downsell, get these people into a $497 product. Now, how do I know this? Well, Andy Jenkins and I promoted a product for Brendan Bouchard called Experts Academy. And when we did that product, like we normally had done in the past, is we were going to offer people 1 hour consulting if they bought High Performance Academy. Andy had made a mistake on air and said we're going to offer 1 year of coaching. And I said, Andy, you said 1 year, you meant 1 hour. He said, oh, that's right, 1 hour. Oh, you know what, if I said a year, we'll do a year. So actually our orders spiked up, and we had about 200 people that we consulted. It's now over, but we consulted over the last year. And one thing that we realized when we were talking to every one of these people, it was they were trying to build these funnels where they had freemiums and tripwires. And here's what we learned. Most people had a $497 or $97 product already in the can, right? And what that means is it was done and it was in a members area that was ready to sell. And let's call that more like a $297 product to a $497 product. Now they're told that they need a tripwire and they needed a freemium. So what they did is they fragmented this $497 product and they took a chapter out of it, or they condensed it and they put it into a $7 version. And then they took some portion of this information and put it into a freemium. So now if you were in the health and wellness niche or personal development, your first page had the very best headline that you could come up with. And that headline probably tied into the $497 product, but you were using it for the freemium. So look what starts happening in the customer's mind right now. You make me an incredible promise. I enter my name and my email address. I want to get this free report. Now you're telling me for $7, I can get maybe a little bit more information. Number one, there's a little bit of a conflict going on. The customer's thinking, okay, the reason why this was given away for free is because you want to sell me something. And even if it's not that, what ends up happening is consciously or subconsciously, they're going to make a decision that says, let me first see if there's enough information in here before I buy this. So they haven't even read this information from your freemium. They now want to go and read it. Meanwhile, there's your sales page, so your conversions are going to drop for this. But what happens if they do buy the $7 offer? At this point, it's the same thing all over again. Yet another upsell for $47, and you're now competing with your $47 product. Let me see what's in this $7 product before I buy this $47 product. How do we think we're ever going to get them to the $497 product? It's been overcomplicated, and this is my thoughts on funnels these days. If you've got a product, most likely you should just be selling that product with a webinar. especially if it's at $97 or more. And if it's $97, raise your price to $197 or $297. I'm sure your information is worth it. Add a little more value, put some more bonuses in there, and get more money, because nothing is going to convert a visitor to your website to a higher dollar amount in your shopping cart than doing live webinars. Trademark Andy Jenkins. All right, so keep this in mind. You don't need a freemium. Here's your webinar registration page. Okay, you're going to have your headline, right? Making a big promise, all the good without the bad. On this free training webcast, we will reveal these things. So guess what becomes the freemium? The webinar that you're doing in a few days. That's the freemium. So you don't have to worry about breaking down any content and giving away a free report. The free information comes here. The next thing, if we go back to the previous funnel thing that we had, when you're trying to sell them, there's a little video here, right? This is a video that's selling. That's what video sales letters do. They sell, 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 sell. And most of the time when somebody comes to your funnel, they clicked on your ad in Facebook or they clicked on an email, nobody was ever ready to see your marketing message. They didn't make an appointment for it. So there's no scrub bar, meaning they have no idea how long this video is. They don't know if it's 13 minutes or if it's going to be 130 minutes. So they start getting frustrated. So what do? They close that tab or leave the tab and they go back to their email or they go back to Facebook, and you're just yapping away on your little video sales letter. Now these things do work, but you can get 4x to 10x your return on investment or conversion by going over to a webinar. All right, so very simple. You do your webinar. You do your webinar registration page, you have your thank you page, you thank them for joining, you tell them why it's important, maybe give them a free little bonus here that makes them want to get on this webinar, and now you do your classic webinar. We're not going to get into getting onto a webinar at this point. That was Mike's head running by that you just saw there. But let me tell you a couple of other things what I like about this. You could take a solution like Webinar Jam or GoToWebinar or anything and get a landing page set up in about 5 minutes. And it's self-hosted for you. And then you show up here, and what are you doing? You're teaching, not selling. Not selling. All right? People are going to buy into you because they like who you are, more of like what I'm doing right now. A webinar generally has this type of information. So people see you for who you really are, the expert, and the passion that you have about your passion project, and then they buy into you, and then all you have to do is say, so if you like this information on this webinar, let me share something that is pretty important with me, and then you go into your program. But here's what else I like about this. Building this funnel, the old way, right, is going to take a long time. And thank God for lead pages and ClickFunnels these days, right? Because they've taken all the technical parts out of it. But that doesn't mean that you still don't have to know how to do copy. So you've got your freemium page, get their email. You've got your $7 tripwire that you were told that has to be done. And you've got your video sales letter here for your $97 product. And then that has an upsell and a downsell to $497 and $297. The poor customer, they feel like they go through a 2007 Mike Filsaime funnel here at this point. Okay. I remember these days. Oh, okay. All right. And every time they're buying, they're being told, wait, if you really want this to work, you need this turbocharger or whatever the case is. Here's my main point that I want to get to today. This right here, if you're really good, about 6 weeks to market. That's how long it takes. And I'd be really surprised to see anybody be able to build an entire funnel, write all the sales copy, the email follow-up sequences, the video sales letter, record it, get the animations done, and get this thing to the market. 6 weeks and you're a star. This is a 90-day project. Okay? So guess what happens if it doesn't work?
90 more days.
I mean, do you go back and re-record a video sales letter because it's at 0.08% and you're going to spend another month redoing it? You're not even sure what part's failing so that you could get to maybe 1%, right? There's so many different breakage points here. What I would rather tell you to do, instead of doing something for 90 days and then doing a Facebook ad and finding out it doesn't work, and then where do you go from there? I think you guys know where I'm going. You log into your webinar software platform, make a promise, create a page, and you're up and running with your webinar registration page with your headline, your little picture here, the date, when it's going to be going, and your bullet points of what you're going to be doing, right? You're up and running in 3 days. You do your webinar, and guess what you get here on the webinar? Somebody type it into Facebook. What are these little things that get typed in right here? Chat. It's feedback, okay? You get to find out within 3 days, how did this convert? What was my dollar per visitor? What was my earnings per click? How much money did I make, right? And you have a couple of places. Let me give you some things you want to measure, okay? So certainly you're going to get feedback. The people in the comments are going to give you objections, right? They're going to start saying, I live in South Africa. Will this work for me? Oh, wow, I need to put this into my slides, right? So you're going to get feedback to make your next presentation even better.
Just as you're joining us, I know some of you have just joined us on the stream.
I'll be done in 2 minutes.
We are talking about how to build your followers, how to get more customers, and how to grow your business. This is Mike Hannings, Ahmed Rush. You're listening to Mike Filsaime. The question had to do with funnels and tripwires, and Mike is answering the question on whether the traditional funnel, tripwire works, bringing people to a $7 offer, then a $47 offer, and Mike's talking about webinars, which you should definitely pay attention to. And so back to Mike.
Okay, yeah, so then finally, here's the 5 things that you want to measure, okay, on your webinars.
Oh, thank you for adding that last part. So,
yes,
here are 5 things you want to measure on your webinars. Okay, that's all.
Ed, Mike said keep it light and keep it fun, so I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I don't get the joke, though. What was
I know.
All right,
we have to talk about that later.
Okay, so
there's a reason you don't get the joke.
Number one, this is your registration page. So you want to get your registration percentage as high as possible. When you go out, if you get 25%, you're at a good starting point, and especially for paid traffic. If it's your own list, you probably want to be about 40 to 50% at the starting gate. So you always want to be moving that up so that by the time you're done, the goal is if you can get this thing up to 60%, it's incredible. So look what happens when you go from 25% to 60%. It's not that easy. It's not that hard. You're just changing things in headlines and your promises and different things on the landing page. Getting a video sales letter to convert 2.5 times better, good luck. It doesn't happen that often. You go from 1% to 1.2%. Going from 1% to 2.5%, you probably got to hire a world-class copywriter to do something like that. So the next thing is called your show rate. Right? So for every 100 people we get, right, if only 20 people show up, well, then we got a 20% show rate, and that is sad face. That's very bad, right? We don't want a 20% show rate. The average in the industry is about 25 to 30%, but your goal is to get this thing to 50%. And what happens in between the time they register and the time they come on the webinar is called the indoctrination time. That's where you communicate with them with good follow-up emails and send them videos and reasons why they really need to attend this event. The next thing is your stick rate. All right? Now, let's change this show rate. Let's say 50%. We did our job, and we got 50% of the people that registered, they showed up. But now they're on the webinar. If they don't see your offer, and only, let's say, 25 people see the offer, that means you've got a problem going on with your webinar. People aren't engaged. People are showing up, and they're bouncing. You actually want to have more people see the offer than actually started at the top of the webinar. That means you started with 100 people, and then maybe a few more people start coming in, and your content is so good nobody's leaving, hopefully like you guys are watching right now. So the point is you can measure this stuff, how many people got on the webinar and how many people stayed to the end or at least saw the offer. That's the most important thing. How many people actually see the offer? Okay, the next thing from there is how many people buy. All right, so then you could say, okay, I had 100 people register, 50 people showed up, I had 45 people see the offer, and 5 people purchased my product for $497. Hey, made $2,500 that day. Not too bad, right? So if 5 people out of 45 people bought, that's somewhere, just round numbers, about a 10% conversion rate. Not bad. You want to be somewhere between 5 and 10% conversion on your webinar. You can get as high as 15% if you really knock it out of the park and something went right. Maybe it was at the end of a launch, you can get up to 20%. But 10% is the goal. You're probably going to start out somewhere about 3 to 5%, which is good. Remember, you started 25% here. Not as many people showed up. Not as many people stuck around. Your offers, all these things can be improved. And then finally, and then we're going to wrap this up right here, is the replay. All right? We call this an encore sequence. And basically what happens is you don't end this sequence right here when the webinar is done. There's a lot of money that can be made after the webinar using a follow-up strategy, either doing the webinar again 2 days later or doing a closeout or a replay or an encore. So you want to measure how much money was made when the webinar ended and how much money did we pick up after the webinar with our follow-up strategy. And so that's another dollar amount that you can track, and then finally, the numbers you want to track, and then Mike, I'm going to turn it back over to you in about 1 minute, but I want to let people know what they want to track in terms of money. Okay, there's a few things called EPC and dollar per reg. Oops. All right, so EPC means how many people just bing, 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 hit your webinar registration page. That's how many people clicked on your Facebook ad, how many people clicked on an email link. That's how many unique visitors, right? All right, and then you take the amount of money that you made. So let's say you made $10,000, and then you divide that by the number of visitors, and that's going to give you your EPC, right? And that's one of the best measurements that you can do to check performance. A lot of people also like to see the dollar per registrant. So at this point, you take a look at, you had 500 people register for a webinar, you made $10,000, you divide the two, and then you realize how much money you're making per registrant. It's a great metric for you to keep track of, because then you can say, I know that every time I get somebody on my webinar, I can make this much money. These things will help you understand how you can go about your advertising, how much money you're willing to spend. So that wraps it up for my quick little presentation there. You guys can give me a virtual applause.
Yes, to start pushing the button underneath the hearts and smiley faces and likes. By the way, if you just joined us, this is Mike Sandwich, Mike Koenigs, Mike Filsaime, Ed Rush. We're talking about marketing, how to get more followers, more fans, more fun. And I tell you what, you just talked about, I thought was huge, and it's one of the things I see. I have folks come through the office right over here who are one-on-one clients, usually 1 or 2 a week, and it's really common for folks to come in with this long, like 5-page, and then I'm going to have this page, and then this funnel, and then this page, and then this part of my funnel, and this page, and it's super complicated. And I look them in the eye and I go, give me an offer. Just give me one offer. I want you to get in front of your market and make one offer. When I first started out in information marketing back in 2007, I was on the phone with a guy who was coaching me through, and I was building a funnel, and I was writing a sales page, and I said, I just can't wait for guys to get through there and start buying stuff. And he said, you know what you should do? I'm like, what should I do? I thought he was going to talk about Google ads or, using Facebook. And he said, you should just get on the phone. You should just talk to some guys and have them buy your course. Yeah. And I remember being terrified by that concept. But I did that. And what I found was there's a common sort of thread of people who were talking about price. They were talking about certain benefits that really caught their eye. And it gave me some ammunition to move in and write really great sales letters, write a great webinar. And so my recommendation for you, just like Mike said, instead of a super long sequence of building a whole bunch of things,
to market.
Get an offer, in front of your market. And the fastest way to do this is with a webinar or webcast.
And then you're going to find out where it breaks. Hey, we crushed it on the webinar. Yeah. The thing is, my webinar registration page sucked.
That's right.
Only 1 out of 10 people. So great, you know where you can fix that. And now, and so you follow those 5 different places of fixing it. You can have your answers of what's going to work in your market within a week compared to. I feel so bad watching people try to get a funnel done in 90 days or 6 months, and then I see them. They're like, "Well, I'm doing a follow-up sequence, and if they don't buy or they show up here, I'm dropping a retargeting." It's like you don't even. It's going to take you 6 months to find out if you even have
it even works.
a pulse.
Yeah.
And you're writing copy down to day 11.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Just do a webinar and don't even worry about follow-up email copy. Just see if the market is resonating with what you have to offer. Right. And then if yes, start improving.
So get in front of your market, make an offer. Get in front of your market, make an offer. Business comes down to two things. It's literally only two things. Forget everything else. It's leads and customers. Get a way to get new leads and get a way to get new customers. Everything else will take care of itself. I have people that ask me, hey, would you recommend I set up an LLC or an Inc., a S Corp? And I'm like, look, if I gave you $1 million, would you figure out the answer to that question? They're like, yeah, I could probably figure it out. I'm like, well, how about you work on getting the $1 million and then all the other questions take care of themselves. So
it's true.
So that was great. Thank you for sharing that. That's a huge, get in front of your market, make an offer. Dean Renfro says, so you can do all of this inside of Facebook, not everything that Mike mentioned. So all the webcast and webinar stuff, you're going to take that off of Facebook, but certainly use Facebook to get your leads into the system.
Unless he was talking about everything we're doing.
What we're doing right now.
Right.
The part with the belt dance.
Thanks for the hearts there.
That's Mike.
I wasn't doing that. Thank you. Mike. Yeah, I was not clicking the hearts. Someone else was. That's very nice of you, though. So I think this kind of bringing it back to the original topic that we were talking about earlier, which is how do you get to 2.5 million viewers like Brandon Carter that I was showing off earlier. And if you're just joining us right now, you can see his page. I've got it up on my computer. This is Brandon Carter. This guy's a fitness guy. Look at those abs. All right, so this guy does a bunch of ab stuff. He's basically workout videos. So there we go, 15-minute abdominal assault workout, how to get a six-pack. So 6 million views. That was made a year ago. But this guy's got about 2.5 million total followers if you take into account what's on all of his social media pages and his website. And then the other guy that I was talking to just yesterday, which is Peter Hollins, he's really pretty remarkable dude. He is he's got 1.4 million followers on YouTube, but the common thread amongst both of them is, first of all, they're constantly making great new content, and usually around one significant video a week, and they are checking in and doing their broadcasts, but they're doing what they do best. And they always remember they've just basically got one thing they're always focused on. In Peter's case, he's got a certain style of video that he makes, and he collaborates a lot. And then Brandon, what he's doing is he also has built relationships with other influencers. So the only thing I was going to draw, I'm going to go over to the whiteboard in a second, and this is super simple. I don't even know if I have to draw it, but the most important thing to realize is if you're going to have any number of followers, you got to be a person of influence. And influence really comes down to having relationships with other influencers. And the best example I can give you right now, so I'm going to be with JJ Virgin this weekend. She's having a big mastermind.
The best example besides the one you're currently in right now.
With these two mega influencers. So
now you can talk about JJ.
Yep. So JJ Virgin has a mastermind group. Every single person who's part of this mastermind, they've got substantial followings. What are you laughing about?
Well, I'm just saying, you're going to this whole thing this weekend, and it's like, if you wanted to find gluten, you probably would have to drive like 15 miles away from that hotel.
There will not be gluten at this event. That's true. It will be very gluten-free. No sugar,
will be gluten.
Dairy, wheat, soy, corn. Yeah, exactly.
You should... The best setup is the Monsanto rep walking through JJ Virgin's mindshare.
Yeah,
Could you see that?
Sorry, green people. Yeah, but seriously, it's all a matter of what makes this whole thing work is networking with influencers and stacking the influence and co-promoting, and you cannot get there alone. What Brandon and Peter have done is, through their collaborations, they're multiplying and just looking at things from a 1 + 1 = 11 perspective instead of a 1 + 1 = 2. And if you want to build buzz, you have to be around buzz builders, which means you've got to specialize and be providing something of value and quality. I mean, this is not rocket science, obviously, but it's like, I mean, you can search and search and search for the magic bullet, but in the meantime, you can fart around for 3 years 3 years have gone by, and you got no list, you got no following, you're not an influencer, and you're not a specialist in something.
So we're not against marketing funnels, but the bottom line is find a way to get people into something that they can pay you. Right. And there's a great quote that I think you need to write down for yourself, which is, if you want to build buzz, you need to be around buzz builders. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That was awesome. By the way,
Buzz
if you're
Lightyear,
write that down. Put that in comments.
If you're just joining us here on Facebook Live, you're looking at one of two cameras. Either you're looking directly at where I'm talking to you right now, or you're looking at me right now. If you're here, this is our studio. You're inside of our studio here in San Diego, looking at a 3-camera shot. If you're here, you're on our Mevo behind-the-scenes
from
camera.
live stream.
Both of these are streaming on Mike Koenig's page. In fact, the Mevo currently has twice as many people watching as our home feed.
And I'll tell you why. It turns out, just
you think Facebook knows the camera?
Well, here's what happens. Mevo's being
question.
searched for by so many people right now. It's got a lot of buzz. So it's a frequently searched for hashtag.
Yeah.
The other thing, what I was doing is I'm part of a Mevo beta test group. I posted these links, and for any of you Uber nerds out there, here's what I did a little while ago, or what we're doing as a team. We're broadcasting this through a TriCaster, through multiple cameras. That's going out to YouTube Live. We have another feed that's going to Facebook Live, and then we have a third that's being broadcast through this Mevo to do these hardware tests. And that way we can, we're just seeing what the results are.
Yeah.
But interestingly, just that one thing. Now, I will say that when we started broadcasting with the Mevo, we started that a little bit sooner. So it's just got a little more traction. But interestingly, the quality, and the quality's damn good, but the audio, we're just using the built-in audio, so anyone who's watching or listening with Mevo knows that it doesn't sound as good because we're not running audio from what's known as the board. We could plug it in.
Like if they're on your page,
some of them are.
They could be watching the Mevo because they got there first, and then hit the mute, and then went over to the stream right above it or below it.
Yeah, so it's wild.
So if you guys are watching on the Mevo and you want a little better sound quality, you don't have to close it. Just open another tab or go to Facebook and type in Mike Koenig's, and you'll see one with a studio and better audio. And we have lavalier mics, and they're cutting the cameras, and you can zoom in on the whiteboard and all that stuff. But we also wanted to showcase the Mevo as well. But as I start to get far away from it,
harder to hear.
It does get a little, especially when I turn my back to get to the whiteboard. So you can get the best experience just by going to Mike Koenig's on Facebook. And remember, please remember to leave us a comment, ask us a question, hit the like button, and more than anything, if you can share this on your timeline, we would really appreciate that.
Yep.
So Mike, you were going to come over here and...
Actually, well, I just told the story I was going to tell, so I think what we can do is see if there's any other comments, questions that we need to answer. Otherwise, let's...
So a lot of great comments and questions. We are streaming across multiple devices. Take you for sharing that. Those of you who said the volume is low, that's because Mike Filsaime walked all the way over there, and this is a stream.
I just explained that whole thing.
Yeah, so,
exactly. Have you guys seen our really cool title slides for who we are, right? So,
our lower thirds. We should put those up before we leave.
Yeah, let's have some fun with those. Let's see what we got.
So we're brainstorming before we started broadcasting.
Well, basically, instead of coming up with really sound marketing content,
social media marketing
we just spent our time coming up with our titles for ourselves. So let's do those, and then we'll wrap up the show.
We'll go through them. So who do we have first here? Let's. Brendan's gonna.
He's queuing up our title shots here for us.
And there we go.
Chief Disruptosaurus.
All right. Yeah. Kind of comment. And the next one we have is legitimate business person. I actually got that from my friend Gene. He has a business card. That's actually what it says. Third one is. Cat behavior expert.
There you go.
Because why not? But
dog behavior expert.
Yeah, because we have a dog in the studio.
That one was original. I never would have thought of that after cat.
Yeah.
Gotta
say. that is actually a marketing strategy, is to just model. Like you just take an idea and change something.
What else we got?
Fred Rush.
Yeah, that's true. No responsibility here whatsoever.
That's true. Okay.
In between guy. Yeah, I didn't know.
That's
Did you make that one up?
I didn't make it up.
Oh, okay.
Mr. B's in the back. Head speller. Yeah,
I wrote that one.
Yeah, that's good. What else we got?
Head speller.
Only job was his caption. Yes,
that's true too.
He's Mr. Smart Guy. Yeah. What else we got? Mike Filsaime, marketing expert. Okay, that's for the legitimate stuff.
There you go.
Self-proclaimed marketing expert.
Okay,
like
next.
Because Mike said, "What's your title?" I said, "I don't know."
Yeah.
Marketing expert.
We get anything else for him? Yeah.
Yes, I
Invented
used
the question
to run
mark.
around.
By the way,
and saying
if
I
you're
invented
watching
the
this
question
on our
mark.
Mevo right now, we're laughing at the lower thirds that we're putting on the other stream.
Sorry, you
so
can't see 'em yet.
You need to go back.
I
and
am a
watch that other
three-time
stream.
rock, paper, scissors champion.
Oh, there you go. You can see it now.
Kind of.
All right.
Yeah,
Although
I'd
I
have
have
to
played
zoom
it
in
over
on
1,000 times, but I did win it 3 times.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you
Rock,
are serious?
paper, scissors, shoot.
No, I'm saying
Come on.
I played the game with probably lost 1,000 times, but I think I won it 3 times, so that makes me a 3-time
Oh, I see.
champion.
Yeah.
That's funny. Is that
And Ed
statistically
Rush, he
impossible?
is the please like, share, and comment guy.
Yeah, that's my lower third. Please like, share, and comment. All right, we're going to land this airplane. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll mention, let's just go through some names. Stephen Cox. I know Stephen Cox.
Stephen Cox.
Where is he from?
With the last name like
San
that, how can
Diego,
you go
baby.
wrong?
Get lessons or takelessons.com. Mike Filsaime. Oh, that was your comment. Alan Ting. Suresh May. Hey, Suresh. What's going on?
What gave it away that it was my comment?
Daniel.
My word
Your
structure.
name. Daniel Chinagosi, Howard Reicham. Let's see, who else do we have here? I'm going to go through a few more names. Hey, thanks, Steve. There he is again. Dean Renfro, Ken MacArthur,
Ken
Claire
MacArthur.
Dreyer. Hey, Ken.
Ken.
Justin Potts, Louis Peter,
Just in time.
Jason Jordan is back, and I think that's about it. Dan Thies. Thanks so much, Mike Searles. Thanks so much to all of you who joined us. We're going to be doing these on a pretty consistent basis now. We are learning and growing in the software that we're going to be teaching you how to use, and specifically how to use to get more followers, more fans, more customers, more relationships. So
And
that
make
you
more
can
money.
Make more
Yeah.
money so that you can run for president and marry a supermodel.
If you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure to click follow on Mike's Facebook page and look up Ed Rush. Look me up as well on Facebook and Twitter and Google+. And follow and check out our websites and get on our newsletter. So
There's like 5 things Mike just told you to do.
Yeah.
Do all of them.
That's right. All right. That's
see you
it.
soon, guys.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
See the fake talk now.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to finish up with our friends with Mevo.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Dot to